It's really important that if you are going to feel good, the environment that you are curating for yourself on social media is supporting you and it's not hurting you. Did you see that in Australia, they put an age requirement to access social media? When I first heard this, my initial thought was, I don't know how they're going to regulate this, but okay, cool. And I think it's cool because when I talk to the parents that I coach who have teenage kids and I hear their concerns and I hear their stories, I think, oh my gosh, it was hard enough to be a teenager in the early 2000s. I can't even imagine what it would be like with Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok these days. It just sounds like, ugh. So I think that's a cool thing. And I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about social media today. And I wanted to do that because I think social media can come with a lot of really incredible things. I think it's possible to feel extremely inspired. I think it's possible to find your tribe. So many good things can come from social media. But I also find that a lot of people do a lot of comparison with social media, and some really ugly things can come from that as well. And I just want to remind you that the environment that you create at home is still somewhat attached to your phone on social media. So it's really important that if you are going to feel good, the environment that you are curating for yourself on social media is supporting you and it's not hurting you. So if you are on social media and it's really like maybe you follow a couple of big accounts, maybe it's more like you're just there to see like your 20 cousins and your grandparents and, what did Joey Bob wear to Dominic's wedding? I don't know. But if like you're mainly there and the relationship is good with you and your family, awesome, hang out there, do your thing. But know that if it's not great and seeing all of this stuff with your family feels kind of triggering, like you can unfollow, you don't have to follow this stuff, like it's okay. And if anybody's coming at you like, well, why didn't you like my picture? Like what is going on? That's a them thing, that's not a you thing. And when it comes to family, especially when it's like a small following and it's like, your Aunt Maureen is like, there's only 20 people following me, somebody unfollowed me. Oh, I'm like gonna go through the followers and I see it's Jeanette who fucking unfollowed me. Jeanette, like, it's cool. I'm glad you unfollowed because I'm guessing there's a reason you unfollowed, but like, that's on your aunt, that's not on you. Sometimes I think there's this pressure, especially when you're somebody who is so like tightly integrated into your family where it feels like, maybe your family's kind of mean or like somebody's just like kind of a bitch, but you feel like you can't step away because it's your family. You can step away. And if you don't want to unfollow because you don't want to stir up any drama, you can always mute. Just mute the account so that it is not something that is always coming up into your feed when you go onto social media. And that should give you like a little sense of relief. That's my 2 cents on that. When you are following larger accounts, creator accounts, maybe you follow celebrities, maybe you follow different fitness professionals, maybe you follow therapists, maybe you follow the dangerous woman. It's important to remember that when you are going onto somebody's account to consume their content, you are choosing to step into their world. They are not choosing to step into yours. So if you initially go to somebody's account and you're like going through everything, you're like, wow, this is really in alignment with me. This feels really nice. This feels really good. I'm going to hang out here. That's great. And you just have to remember that these accounts, a lot of times, things might change. And if you start noticing things are changing on one of these creators' accounts and you don't like it, if you have the audacity to be like, what's going on? Like, why is your account changing? Like, that's not cool. That's really not cool. I would say, if you're really curious to know why is an account's vibe changing, like ask questions, be curious, you know, and if you happen to get a response, cool. I think that also just depends on, how big an account is in the first place and if you even know the person whose account it is. But what I would encourage if you're noticing something is kind of different is ask why. Be curious. If you just like make comments like, what the fuck is going on with this account? This isn't what I initially like fell in love with in the first place. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not cool. Like, you're being kind of a jerk. Not even kind of a jerk. You're being a fucking jerk. So if you want to know why something is changing, ask questions. And you also have to understand that when you are going into a creator's world, again, it's their world. You're just going into it. They didn't ask for permission to go into yours. So if you're noticing like, oh, once upon a time it felt really nice to be here and now it's just like not really the vibe anymore. Maybe there's some growing apart because of the account or maybe even because of you. Like there have been plenty of accounts that I have followed at times where it felt like we were in alignment and then I was like, actually, I don't really align with this anymore. And then I unfollow. Like I would never go to an account and just be like, what the fuck happened to your account? And then like tell them I'm going to unfollow this because it's bullshit. Like, I mean, for one, I highly doubt the account really cares if you're going to unfollow. Like that's something separate in the world of social media, especially if you're on social media for your business. Like people follow and unfollow all of the time. It's just like, it's part of the game.
Strong, lean, fierce from the inside out. Kettlebells transformed me, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. They took me from surviving to thriving, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're a 30-something or 70-something-year-old woman, strength training is going to be gold for you as you continue moving forward on your fitness journey. And my virtual kettlebell training programs are designed just for you. No gym needed, no fluff, just results. Since 2020, I've helped women across the globe virtually build strong, lean bodies from the comfort of their living room. My mission is to help you meet the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of. The woman you were destined to be. I want to help you find your fierce. Here's what I have to offer. Progressive strength training programs designed to help you build muscle, drop body fat, and feel more confident every single day with a kettlebell. I also offer private virtual training. Get one-on-one coaching with me to perfect your form, progress faster, and crush your personal goals. And the best part about pairing with me is my powerful community. We're here to support your transformation because I believe that to go far, you have to go with a team by your side. The only thing standing between you and your transformation at this point is one decision. Are you ready to feel fierce, unstoppable, and unapologetically you? If yes, visit www.colleenconlon.com and see what offers make the most sense for where you are at today.
If you're feeling, kind of triggered by that stuff, I think you kind of need to go inward and ask yourself, well, why do I feel this way? What's coming up for me? And if it feels like, no, I don't need to do the internal work, just go somewhere else. That's the cool thing about social media. There's so much stuff out there. There's so much that you can consume. So if something feels like this is no longer in alignment for me, there's probably something even better out there for you. You just need to go and do the digging. And that's cool. I heard a saying from a woman that I used to work with where it's, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think the same thing kind of goes with social media, especially when we're looking to accounts for education, entertainment, or inspiration. Like maybe it's just for a season, or there's a reason, or it's a lifetime. It doesn't always have to be a lifetime, All to say, if it feels like it is building you up, it is making you feel good, great, stay there, consume, enjoy, within reason. Like if you start getting kind of weird and stalkery, that is fucking weird. And I will say it from experience. Like I've had people do weird stuff on my account before. And yeah, nobody ever wants to feel like they're being stalked. Nobody ever wants to feel like they're being stalked. So if you are doing some weird shit, stop or understand that people will probably just start like ignoring your stuff, or they will block you. But if it's not serving you, just go somewhere else. And for those of you who are on the opposite side, you are the creator, you have a business, maybe you are an influencer, but there's like a really big reason in regards to your career as to why you're on social media. Something that I think is really important is going in there with tough skin and going in there curious. So I have friends who are also creators, or they happen to run online businesses on social media. And I have one friend in particular who is really good at social media from the perspective of bitch is not afraid to get controversial. And it's actually really good for her social media account because it brings a lot of comments. So it brings a lot of people to her page. A lot of people can find her content because it just kind of blows up. But she has gotten to the point where she is afraid to even open up her phone. She actually has her husband scroll her phone every day before she goes on it, because sometimes the comments are really mean and it's hard to just like let it roll off your shoulder. So that's happened to me before. I've had people say really mean things. And what I have learned to do is, instead of just instantaneously deleting the comment, which sometimes I will do off the bat, depending on what it is, but I try my best to be curious. And I like being curious because one of two things will happen. Number one, somebody's comment actually wasn't intended the way it came across to you. And I think, you know, if you're listening to this, you understand sometimes you get a text message or an email and just the tone, it's kind of hard to read the tone sometimes just with words. So sometimes it's nice to ask a question back to see, well, what did you mean by that? And then you give the person an opportunity to give you a little bit more insight. So maybe there's a conversation, maybe there's something a little bit bigger there. Or on the flip side, they say something back that is equally as fucking weird or outlandish or rude, and it's just crystal clear like who they are. And maybe you keep the comment for the sake of, you know, bringing more people to your page, or maybe you delete it. But I really like that strategy, just to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. And even if there is no benefit of the doubt, it does something better for my page from that business perspective. But the same thing to you if you are a creator. Remember, you can block people, you can delete people, you can unfollow people, you can mute people. Remember, social media is a great tool. It is a great way for all of us to connect, and we are in complete control of what comes in and what we follow. So you want to, you know, take advantage of the things that do serve you. And if something is making you feel low vibe, get out of there. You are an adult woman. Do not put yourself in situations that make you feel ugh, you know? And I get it. Maybe sometimes it's like, oh, just this one thing. So maybe you like get out, maybe you don't. But if you're noticing again and again and again it's happening, just take yourself somewhere else. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to do a little self-audit of your social media and just notice how it's making you feel to be there based on the people that you are following and the accounts that are popping up for you. If it's feeling good to have that stuff there, keep it. And if it's not, maybe there's a mute, maybe there's an unfollow. I hope there's not a block, but maybe there's even a block. Remember, your social media environment, it is going to impact your overall wellness. So you want to make sure you are always creating spaces that help to move you forward in a positive way.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce Be authentic, be dangerous.